Thank you, Administrator Loeffler, for being here today. You testified that as you've traveled around the country, you've heard three big concerns from our small businesses. You talked about workforce challenges, regulations and red tape, and taxes. I'm hearing similar concerns, but I want to address both. I want to start by asking you about the workforce challenges you've heard about. As I've traveled around New Hampshire, and part of what has really given me grave concern about the biggest cuts to healthcare in American history is the impact that these cuts will have on our small business owners and employees. Do you have a sense, Administrator, of what the scale is? How many small business owners and employees depend on Medicaid?
Congresswoman, we have to make sure that Medicaid is there for the people that need it and not for people who are gaming the system or double dipping. We know that there are Medicaid checks being sent to the same person in 2 different states, and Americans want to know that this program will be there for them when they need it. We should make sure that pregnant single women are able to get that and not able-bodied Americans.
Reclaiming my time. The answer is 7 million small business owners and employees depend on Medicaid for affordable health care coverage. We're talking about the biggest cuts to Medicaid in American history. We're also not extending the ACA premium tax credits, which is going to hurt our small businesses across this country. And it's what I'm hearing from our small businesses every day on this job. I want to ask you about childcare as a workforce issue. And Administrator, will you commit to working with me and with our committee to make childcare more affordable?
Congressman, I hear child care concerns, and we want to make sure that we are ensuring that small businesses have the resources they need, and I would love to hear your ideas about improving that across this country.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I will take you up on that. I want to ask you, you mentioned red tape and taxes. As I've traveled around New Hampshire, the number one concern, I guess my question to you is, how important is certainty to our small businesses?
Certainty is one thing that small businesses would like to have, but running a small business is about anything but certainty, and that's why the tax bill is so important, so that they have the continuity of their expectations around tax.
The primary driver of uncertainty for our small businesses today is this absolutely hard to follow trade policy in which tariffs and trade wars have been waged and exemptions have been granted. You testified earlier, Administrator, that you oppose exemptions for small businesses from the president's tariffs. I just want to be sure that we have that right.
I testified that we have to have fair trade for our small businesses who don't have the resources to fight against the trade war waged against our small businesses, allowing small businesses in China to take away, to commit sabotage and espionage when small businesses produce in China. They steal their intellectual
I'm going to take
property.
that as you oppose exemptions for small businesses while some of the biggest corporations in the world are getting exemptions from the president's trade policies.
I oppose the hollowing out of this country's manufacturing base, and that's happened across communities. 5 million workers have not had a voice. We have to restore opportunity for our workers, for our small businesses to compete on a level playing field.
I agree. You know, in New Hampshire, we have an incredible community of advanced manufacturing small businesses. And I'm reading here from a letter I received from one such business in the town of Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. This is a precision motion and engineering company. It's a small business. They said without relief, companies like Abtec, representing the backbone of American manufacturing, face significant challenges to sustaining growth, innovation, and employment. I've heard from countless small businesses who are worried that they're not going to be able to stay in business because of the president's tariffs. Will you commit to working with us in this committee to make sure that our small manufacturing businesses don't go out of business?
Well, certainly I'll always commit to working
through
with
exemptions
to find
through these
options and solutions. Our solution of onshoring our supply chain through our onshoring portal is critical, but we have to ensure that our small businesses are never at the mercy of the Chinese Communist Party again.
I couldn't agree more with that, and I want them to stay in business. So I hope we can count on you to work with us on that. Yeah. Administrator Loeffler, you talked about staffing cuts. Last week you testified before the Senate, and you committed to my colleague Senator Shaheen from New Hampshire to giving us a full update on how you plan to restaff critical district offices, including in New Hampshire, so that you know we've seen a 60% reduction in our staffing in New Hampshire. How is that in any way consistent with strengthening the SBA in the field?
Well, we've certainly seen a return to office, and the return to office did cause some people to opt out of returning to work in office, but we are restaffing those field offices, and people are back at work now in the field office
Well,
for the first
unfortunately,
time
in my
4
state of New
years.
Hampshire, we've seen a 60% reduction, and this is harming our small businesses. So I expect that we will be hearing about from you with answers to our questions about how you intend to restore the workforce in that critical field office.
Gentlelady's time is up.